What's up, guys? Spider here. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning driving into work. Welcoming you to another Zombie Talk with Spider, episode 7. Call of Duty Zombies Then and Now. This was a request from someone on a video comment who wanted me to talk. Hey, Spider, what's the difference between zombies way back then and now? And way back when, you know, the good old days, man. The good old World at War days and the Black Ops days. So I thought, okay, you know, that's a pretty interesting topic. When I first started playing zombies, I got invited into Nacht der Untoten. It was my very first game. And I didn't even realize that zombies was a thing in World at War. Way back then, you had to actually complete the campaign in order to unlock zombies. I had never completed the campaign. So somebody who had and had unlocked zombies brought me into this game. And I'm like, holy crap, this is terrifying. And it was actually really, really slow back then. So they've patched it since. But, you know, you get like one zombie on round 1. And they were so slow, and it would kind of take forever. But it's sort of built upon that sort of terrifying aspect. It's like, holy crap, I hear these zombie sounds. Where's it coming from? These freaking zombies are coming after me. Is like, yeah, I was crapping my pants, basically. And I think a couple of games after that, I can't remember exactly the timing. I do remember playing Der Riese with some people, and we were doing the whole catwalk thing for a while. I remember that. I think we got up to, like, I don't know, we were going for trophies, I think. We were trying to get trophies. I remember playing Shi No Numa solo, and round 5 came around, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I hear all these screeches, all this fog, and then these freaking flaming dogs coming out of nowhere, and they wrecked me. And I was so scared. I'm like, holy cow, this is insane. And I think from then on, you know, those 3 games kind of solidified it for me in zombies. And it was like, okay, this is pretty good. I like this. We're gonna do something with this. And there were no Easter eggs. I mean, you know, there were little ones. Like if you go on Der Riese, there were little ones, but I wasn't interested in that at the time. It wasn't really that interesting, and I wasn't even aware of these Easter eggs, you know, like the fly trap thing in Der Riese. Like no awareness of that whatsoever, right? No awareness of the phone on Shi No Numa, or the actual kind of storyline that started developing on Shi No Numa. You know, Verrückt and I think Nacht der Untoten were still the commando guys, right? And then it wasn't until Shi No Numa, I think it was still we were the commando guys, but that's when we started character development, and then that went into Der Riese, right? Because you had the different areas on Shi No Numa for each of the characters, basically. Doctor's quarters, Richthofen, right? I guess. So that was pretty cool. And then Black Ops came around, and that's when we started going to town. Kino der Toten did so much content on Kino der Toten. It was just so much fun. I don't know, Kino was kind of polarizing, because there are a lot of people that really didn't like the map, and there were a lot of people that just loved the map. And you know, I was talking the other day that Kino is pretty high on the percent playlist in Black Ops 3 with Zombies Chronicles. It's like crazy. It's a crazy map. And then Ascension. Ascension was where this whole craze with the Easter egg began. That's when we had this multi-step, you know, insane Easter egg begin, and it was on Ascension. And, you know, it wasn't the most well-done Easter egg, especially the ending where you're just firing randomly at this glowing dot on the ground with a bunch of different pack-a-punch weapons, just to make sure that you provide enough power to do the last step. And then it was like, hey, we did it, and we got death machines for 90 seconds. What? What kind of reward is that? And then we spent like months just trying to figure out if there was more. Take the death machine, shoot the moon. There's a secret door. There's a secret door down by Quick Revive, in behind Quick Revive. We got to get in there. Maybe shoot the door with the death machine. There were batteries around the map, and they were labeled Spark or Sparky. It's like, oh, maybe we got to shoot those. Go around and shoot all the batteries that say Sparky on them. No! There was nothing more on the Ascension Easter egg. And then we got into the, you know, the rest of the maps for Black Ops. Moon was pretty awesome, but the entire Easter egg was ruined. I think an hour after the map pack released, somebody leaked all the steps in text format onto the internet. And I was like, what the freak? So that Moon Easter egg hunt, there was no hunt. It was, everybody knew all the steps an hour after the DLC release. That was kind of infuriating, but what are you gonna do? And then we get into Black Ops 2, and Black Ops 2 was really where I kind of went to town, and we had most of our growth on NGT Zombies, especially with Transit. And I think it was all pretty much Transit. Transit was actually, I don't know, I liked the map. And it was kind of crazy going into the fog and having those things, those freaking little dudes jump on your head and scratch out your eyes. That was pretty creepy. I remember I got to play it before the game actually released. I had an early copy, and I couldn't wait to get the other guys on there to experience that. And I remember the first time I brought Hyper into it, and it should be on the channel, I think, way back when. And I brought him into the fog, and the thing jumped on his head, and he freaked out. It's like, what the hell is this? Oh, that was pretty good. I mean, you know, whatever you might say about Transit, I don't know. It was really good. And they had a lot of things in Transit. We created a lot of content because they had a lot of references on that map, and especially the bus driver. The bus driver had so much dialogue and was about all these past events in, you know, kind of U.S. history and locations, etc. So we did a lot of videos about that, and I think that's kind of really helped us explode in zombies over on NGT Zombies. So it's, you know, it was good times. Black Ops 2, you know, sort of going into Die Rise. We have Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead was absolutely fantastic. Buried. Origins. Origins was pretty crazy. And I remember Easter egg hunting on Origins. We had so many problems because we were probably getting DDoSed. We definitely were getting DDoSed. And every time someone left the game, they were doing game updates and they couldn't rejoin the game, so we had to stop. We had to stop so many times. But it was a good Easter egg hunt. I mean, whatever you might say about Origins, and I think Origins is another one of those polarizing maps where people either really loved Origins or really didn't like Origins. And I remember round 8, the Panzer Soldat. Oh, that was, yeah. I don't think we made it past our first game, past round 8. I don't believe, anyway. So after Origins, it kind of died off for me, and Black Ops 3 was where it kind of died off. And honestly, like, I do have praise for people that can play the same game day in, day out, week after week, month after month, year after year. I can't do it. I mean, as much as I love zombies, it's very hard to play it every single day for years on end. I mean, you just need a break sometimes. And that kind of happened to me during, you know, going into and during Black Ops 3, and that's kind of where I lost it. And, you know, I have no regrets. I couldn't do it. And, you know, I talk about the number of kind of a couple of years leading up to me getting away, you know, backing away from YouTube, and that was part of it. That was during that time, and I had to take some breaks. I had to step back from YouTube and from social and just, you know, cold turkey. It's like, just get away from it for a while. Because it can be pretty toxic nowadays on the internet, on social media. You know, way back when, it was all about sort of discovery and the community coming together and trying to solve these Easter eggs and doing it in a community sort of way. But it's not that way anymore. It's kind of turned into, you know, who can do it the fastest, who can do it the quickest, who can make the most money on YouTube, that sort of thing. That's part of what's turned me off of YouTube for a long time now as well. It's just, it's all about money now. That's all, you know. And fair enough. I mean, you're making it into a business. Your business is to make money on YouTube, and you're going to do what it takes to make money. So you know, whatever, to each his own. But it has kind of turned me off from it. I think it almost seems like most of the developers these days are catering to the big YouTubers. I don't know. I mean, marketing, obviously, YouTube is a big marketing juggernaut for these games. And, you know, you get a bunch of YouTubers, get them to come down to your studio and for the reveal and have them play your game a little bit so they can go back and tell all their viewers how awesome it was, right? I get it. I get it. But it seems like it's more about that than anything else these days. I know multiplayer is sort of more about, has become a lot more about competitive than anything, which is fantastic. I just don't agree with that shift. I don't necessarily like it. There are a lot of, you know, again, looking at multiplayer, used to play multiplayer all the time. And in Black Ops, and I think Black Ops 2, it was really a push for multiplayer maps to be more competitive. So the same 3-lane, small maps, time after time after time. And it's like, I don't, you know, I like doing, you know, when we go back to the Rush series on Search and Destroy, I like flank routes. And when you limit it to 3 lanes and people can just set up and cover those 3 lanes, it just makes it a little bit infuriating. So you got to play more. Well, I mean, you can play aggressive, but it's just different. It's just different. There are a lot of maps that I love from Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 that just wouldn't be built nowadays because they're not necessarily catered to that competitive format, that 3-lane competitive format, right? But, you know, and that's kind of the way Zombies has gone, sort of catering a little bit to the Easter egg hunt, catering to content, which, again, I get it. I get it. The more content that people can create on YouTube for your game, the better for your game, because it's constantly being marketed, right? So I totally understand that, but I just don't necessarily agree with it, right? So it's kind of lost its appeal to a great deal. And obviously, considering that they're doing, you know, forcing the developers to do Zombies every year, it's become watered down, and you don't see nearly as much. You know, I think we'll see a lot of content come out for Black Ops 4 Zombies, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what we necessarily saw for Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3. I think it's going to last for a little bit, and then people are going to move on to something else. That's just my call. That's just what I think is going to happen. Not as necessarily as much as we've seen with World War II, but we have seen it with World War II. Guys, you know, spend a little bit of time on it, and then it's gone. It's gone until the next DLC. I think with Black Ops 3, there was a little bit more longevity to it, and especially with Zombies Chronicles. Zombies Chronicles was a great addition to Black Ops 3. I don't know how they're going to top that in Black Ops 4, to be honest. So, I don't know. That's Zombies Then and Now. Just wanted to have a little discussion about it. What do you guys think? I mean, there are a lot more things that I could talk about, but you know, I didn't even touch upon Custom Zombies really. And Custom Zombies was pretty awesome way back when in World at War. But again, it's just become a lot more watered down and a lot more about the money on YouTube, and less collaboration, more fighting, more trying to one up each other, and more about just revenue generation on YouTube than anything. So for me, it's like, meh, I don't know. It used to be pretty awesome with the World at War maps, just seeing people bring new things into the maps, like new features. Not necessarily because the map was themed after something that just happened to be popular at the time. It was, you know, something that was brought into the map that, oh, that's kind of a cool thing to bring in. That's kind of a cool design, or a cool feature, or some cool perks that were added, or a cool weapon like the freaking hand cannon from Dead Space 2. That was awesome. Thank you, Chroma, for that. Anyways, guys, I'm done. I think my time's up. I don't want to hit 15 minutes because then I can't upload this thing. But let me know what you think in the comments, and it was a good talk. I appreciate you guys coming by and listening. We'll talk to you next time. I'm Spider, and I'm out.